That's not what I have heard, that your statement is myopic. That wasn't what I have heard.
Mr. Speaker,
and now, leader, listen to me. I asked him to resume his seat because the practice of the House and the rule is that when the Speaker is speaking, you resume your seat. Is that not the case? Is that not the case? So at the time that I was speaking, the honorable member was still standing. Then I said, honorable member, resume your seat so that you can listen to what I am saying. This is not to deny him the opportunity to complete the rest of his terms.
Speaker, with respect, the member had spent 3 out of his 5 minutes. What I know, Mr. Speaker, is that where you have disagreement with a line of argument, Mr. Speaker would ordinarily call the member to order in respect of that specific submission. Mr. Speaker, members on this side were up in arms against him, raising murmurs and all. And Mr. Speaker, now if you say that he should lose his 2 minutes, Mr. Speaker, that's quite
Honorable
a
Minority Leader, we are here to guide.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I agree with you.
And when you provide a guidance and the member have decided to ignore you, you apply the tools available for you.
Mr. Speaker,
so, honorable members, we are here to guide everybody. When members are speaking, Honorable Kojo Nkrumah spoke, I never intervened. For me to tell you that honorable members or honorable member, you are veering into a debate which the rule says we should not do. Stick to your rules. The very thing that you said for me to bring the warning, you are repeating the same thing. I mean, why?
Speaker, you are a father to all of us. Mr. Speaker, you are a father to all of us. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, a first-timer described a statement I had made that you admitted as myopic. He repeated it 3 times. Mr. Speaker, he repeated it 3 times.
Well,
Mr. Speaker, may hear me. Mr. Speaker, please hear me. Mr. Speaker, please hear me. Mr. Speaker, I had a cause to even complain to his boss, the majority leader, off record. Oh, no, leader, it's fair. Sometimes it's fair. I complained to him that he is a junior member of this house. You don't describe, you see, even when I'm speaking, you have to keep quiet and listen. You are not to do this. At least I've been here, this is my 4th term.
He's a junior at the bar.
And I'm your senior at the bar as well. He is my senior. Please don't do this. Mr. Speaker, this is how my own junior in this chamber described a statement that had been admitted by you. But Mr. Speaker, we moved on. I am only pleading with you. Mr. Speaker, you are our primus. You are our primus. The rule is that you are the first amongst your equals. You are correcting him. You are correcting me. You are correcting us. But I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, to deny him of his additional 2 minutes is onerous. That is my very humble submission. That he takes a guide. Please allow him, because one day, Mr. Speaker, all the good things you do in this chamber, you'll be remembered for that. I thank you.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday he made a statement on free speech. Somebody said the president should be killed, that the first lady should be beheaded. And he came and made an elaborate statement on free speech. Somebody uses the word myopic, and he says that he's up in arms. You, the advocate of free speech, you are running away from the word myopic.
Well, honourable members, yesterday I have heard that, but I have not heard reference to his statement as being myopic. That's not what I have heard, that your statement is myopic. That wasn't what I have heard.
Mr. Speaker,
and now, leader, listen to me. I asked him to resume his seat because the practice of the House and the rule is that when the Speaker is speaking, you resume your seat. Is that not the case? Is that not the case? So at the time that I was speaking, the honorable member was still standing. Then I said, honorable member, resume your seat so that you can listen to what I am saying. This is not to deny him the opportunity to complete the rest of his terms. You have the floor.
Sometimes I miss the majority leader. He's one troublesome fellow, but I will manage him. Speaker, let me commend Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib, the member for Wejagbawe, for bringing this statement to the fore. I commend his industry, as well as the member who spoke after him with another statement, Honorable Isaac Buamanyako. Mr. Speaker, I have my own views to add to the beautiful submissions by my colleagues. And Mr. Speaker, this is what I have to say. Mr. Speaker, in early 2025, government established an anti-flood task force with considerable institutional seriousness. It was chaired by the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations, Mr. Stanislav Hosedogwe. Mr. Speaker, the President's own legal counsel, Marita Brew, served as its secretary. Its membership included the Minister of Water Resources, Works and Housing, Kenneth Ejay, the Minister of Local Government, Ahmed Ibrahim, National Security Coordinator, DCOP, Abdul Osman Razak, and the Deputy Director General of NADMO, Teddy Adi. Mr. Speaker, this was not a token committee. This was a body assembled from the very top of Ghana's executive machinery, announced to the public as a decisive intervention against perennial national problem. And yet we are here. The same communities are flooded. The same families are displaced. The same drains are overwhelmed. The formation of the task force was widely publicized. Its results, however, Mr. Speaker, have been conspicuously silent. This is precisely why Honorable Shaib's demand that the task force findings and recommendations be brought before Parliament is not a procedural technicality. And Mr. Speaker, I believe that the context he made the demand is a democratic necessity. Ghanaians funded this task force through their taxes. They were promised to make a difference, and I believe that they are owed a transparent account of what it actually did. If the task force met, deliberated and produced recommendations that were subsequently ignored by the relevant institutions, that this is a failure of implementation. It must be called as it is. If its recommendations were accepted but not resourced, that is a failure of political will. If it met a handful of times and quietly faded away, that is a failure of commitment. Whichever of these is true, Parliament and the Ghanaian public have a right to know. And Mr. Speaker, may I remind my colleagues in government that they made a manifesto promise, and this must be confronted now in this very House. Beyond the task force, there is even more fundamental accountability question that cannot be sidestepped. The governing party, the NDC, went to the Ghanaian electorate with a specific concrete promise, and it's been 1 year, 6 months. They promised the construction of water retention and detention reservoirs in flood-prone communities as a lasting structural solution to recurrent urban flooding. This was not a vague aspiration buried in footnotes. It was a central commitment, the kind of infrastructure-based permanent solution that communities across Greater Accra have desperately needed for years. Mr. Speaker, voters in flood-affected constituencies heard that promise. Many of them cast their ballot with that promise in mind. Today, the same voters are once again cleaning the mud from their flowers and salvaging with remains of their belongings. The reservoirs have not been built, the flooding have not been prevented, and the question that must be asked loudly and without apology is this: why not? This is not a partisan question. It is a governance question. If the retention and the detention reservoirs were the right solution, and the evidence strongly suggests that they are part of the right solution, then the failure delivered to them is a failure that affects the real people in real communities. It points to either a breakdown in implementation or a failure of coordination between ministries and local assemblies, and a promise that was made without credible plan to back it. Any of these
Yes, Majority Leader.
If the minority leader can hand over the script he has read, it would be helpful. I don't know if that is another statement or he was commenting on the statement made by Jerry. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, I think that the issue of flooding across our country is indeed a very serious matter. And we as a House, as a Parliament, must figure out how we can help the rest of the country to deal with this problem. And so the relevant committees of Parliament that deal with issues relating to decentralization, which is directly responsible for zoning, permitting, and infrastructure development at that level, the committee must sit up and get the various local government authorities up to their game in terms of making sure that these unlawful developments that obstruct the pathways of water stop. I also think that solving this problem requires a major infrastructure intervention. We are talking about drains in all the communities to direct the water when it rains heavily, major drains to move the water from the neighborhoods towards major reservoirs that we must construct, and then finally the outlets into the ocean where the water must end. These are huge infrastructure commitments that we must make as a country, and it requires some funding. So as a House, when government brings the budget, we should be interested in how much money is being set aside for infrastructure to deal with drainage. Because if you invite the Minister for Works here 100 times, and yet you don't make the relevant appropriation to enable the Ministry of Housing and Works and Housing to be able to finance these major infrastructure activities, the problem will remain unsolved. And as for the issue of our own culpability as citizens in this matter, the people who are developing at wrong places, very often some of them don't even know that that place is flood prone. They are sold lands during the dry season. They are asked to hurriedly develop. They run and start the development, and then the rains come, and then they are caught in a web of floods and the devastating consequences of the floods when people have taken their monies already. Of course, the rest of us who know stand idly by, don't care, or are too busy to be concerned about what they are doing. But all in all, I think that it is an institutional problem We must sit up as a people, and we must get the institutions to function. We cannot blame individuals. We must blame institutions. The institutions are not functioning. So let's get the institutions functioning. I've read about the special task force that was set up by the president. I'm not sure that this is a problem that can be solved within the 1 year that I think the task force has been in existence. A lot of studies are required, a lot of fundraising is required, and I believe that they will ultimately achieve some success, but we need to give them time. So let's give the task force some time and see what the output can be. But for now, I urge government, and we have the Minister for Interior here, to see how we can resource NADMO so that in these trying times, some resources can be made available to support houses and household occupants that are in dire need of support to move out for now and find places to perch until the water recedes. So, Mr. Speaker, on this note, I will thank the maker of the statement. It is very important, and to also sympathize with those who have lost their lives, their families, and those who have lost property, and those who have been seriously inconvenienced by the flooding. And so, Mr. Speaker, the two makers of the statement have done well.
Honorable Minority Leader, I thank you for your generosity. Yes, the Minister for Interior.
Well, probably I may not even use that much. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members for their contribution, but to say that let's redirect our efforts to the right place. Because, you see, it is easy to blame somebody for everything. That's very easy. But the most difficult thing is when you have to blame yourself for what you have failed to do. And as citizens, we need, as members of parliament, to begin talking directly to our own constituents. Because if you see the nature and the way we carry ourselves and create this artificial problem for ourselves. Because I was saying that for the supernatural, God will take care of that. But for the natural, we have to take care of it ourselves. God will not come and do what we are supposed to do for ourselves. You cannot continue doing the wrong thing and expect a different result. It will never happen. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the way we build, today, in Greater Accra alone, more than 50% of the houses that we are building have either not taken permit, there's no any certification, nobody has checked the soil test, they won't just comply. And we are running a district assembly that all of us have a role to play, where we try to use our political influences to exert on the officers that are in the district assembly. Today, many of them have decided that, if for Muntakade, he will call and then they ask us to let go. Then after Zena Rollins, then that one, she's coming, let me talk to her one-on-one and we'll deal with it. So because of that, it has become so rampant that our district assemblies have completely lost control. Our chiefs keep saying that this land belongs to them. And therefore they decide that they finish selling all the prime land. Now they say that this one too, even though it's waterlogged, they can refill it and sell. And all of us watch. And then when it rains and when there's flooding, then we try to play the blame game. Mr. Speaker, with a greater respect, you've been here, if I recollect very well, this is about your, fifth term. Fourth, sorry. How many times have this decision not been made on both sides, whether it is MPP government or NDC government that is there? Today, one of the major things that we have realized is that the NADMO, that's the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, all of us tend to think that after disaster, it will take care of itself. We don't even plan very well. I can recollect that they did a comprehensive report way back February, saying that certain things needed to be done. They pushed the Greater Accra Regional Minister, and they were going around clearing houses on waterways. Here's some of the comments, the insults they were being received. So, yes, this has happened. As we speak, we've marked 16 houses that we've identified in Greater Accra that are of public concern. And they started going down, bringing them down. We want the public to support them. But the district assembly must wake up to the realization that this tax is theirs. Mr. Speaker, if you care to know, even Parliament, if we want to build something here, we have to go to the right assembly to collect permit. Because it is their jurisdiction. They are supposed to monitor. They are supposed to ensure we use the right material. How many of us are doing? When it is done, like this chamber, we are supposed to annually certify that it's fire safety, the safety measures are right. How many of us are doing it? And then when the disaster happens, then we want to blame each other. We will continue to do the best that we can in resourcing NADMO. Currently, one of the things that we are doing is that all the seized excavators in the illegal mining activities, last 2 weeks, we agreed that about 70 of it should be given to NADMO so that they can take it across the country for desilting. So that is being done, and my colleague, Honorable Amabua, was not around. Just yesterday, he said that next week we will do that, to hand over these excavators to NADMO so that they can use it to desilt most of the drain. But the bottom line is that let's begin speaking out to our own constituents. Because when you drop garbage and other things, just know that you are just pushing the problem back onto yourself. Because yes, it may leave you, the garbage will leave you. It will go and choke the drain, and then the water will push back. And when it pushes back, it will come back to you. But I can assure you that, Mr. Speaker, we will do the best that we can. We are trying to see if we can get a committee to comprehensively look at issue about this building permit and lack of following through the procedure. What is it that we can do? Because Mr. Speaker, without enforcement, we will not be able to achieve.
Honourable Minister, you have additional 1 more minute.
Thank you very much, Speaker. The enforcement are scattered in different ministries. Whereas NADMO sits with Ministry of Interior, local government handles the issue of the district assemblies. Fire, yes, also with Interior. And we are trying to get NADMO and Fire Service to work together. What about the others? We are trying to get this broader collaboration to ensure that the enforcement is unique and together. Other than that, if we continue to do this piecemeal, it will be extremely difficult for us to overcome this challenge. It's sad that people have lost their life needlessly, but we extend our condolences to those who have lost their life. Our MPs who have lost a lot of their constituents, have lost properties and loved ones, we extend our condolences to them, and we will do the best that we can to extend help to many of them as much as possible. Last weekend, I was with my colleague from Okankwe North, and we tried to suppose. You haven't spoken to me about it. You are not talking about it. And she wrote. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members for the statement that they made. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, statement time is ended. Yes, Majority Leader, any indication?
Mr. Speaker, a few clauses of the Community Service Bill. He has some very important amendments that he has advertised, and we've all come, the Minister for Education, Minister for Interior, we've all come to assist, consider amendments advertised in the name of Osahene, Afenyo Markin, the great minority leader. So, Mr. Speaker, just about 8 clauses. No, the reason why I propose 8 clauses are that if you look at where we stopped yesterday, we have clause 25, which we deferred, and clause 31, which we also deferred, so that today we can take them together and try and then find a proper rendition. After that, Mr. Speaker, you have, for instance, from clause 32 up to 35. There are no advertised amendments. And then, 37, 38, just a few amendments that we can take, within a very short time. So if we commit ourselves to just working for a few minutes, we can hit 39. And that's why I propose, 7 or 8 clauses, aiming at clause 39. So please, Minority Leader, I plead that you allow us to just advance this bill a little.
Speaker, the Majority Leader has a way of putting babies to sleep. He gives them some additional titles to manage situation. But Mr. Speaker, be that as it may, the Deputy Leader, together with the chair of the committee, and my good self, had a certain understanding. The Majority Leader was not here. And the understanding was that we would confer on my amendments. We agreed 10 a.m. tomorrow, so that we come and finish this snap. I gave my word, we agreed. Mr. Ricketts, So suddenly the Majority Leader referring to me as great Afenyo marking and all of that, and trying to give me all manner of titles, then he's blackmailing me to say that these are my amendments. Mr. Speaker, well, Mr. Speaker, I am happy the minister is
You said I have done what?
Mr. Speaker, I am saying that the communication of your constituent, with communication you channel to the minister, he has not responded to that communication.
My constituents don't communicate directly to the minister. They have not channeled any communication through me to the minister.
Mr. Speaker, that's okay. Mr. Speaker, that's okay. Mr. Speaker, you are aware the man is putting for immigration, police, prisons, fire. You are aware. Mr. Speaker, you are aware. I am aware. The Majority Leader is aware. And the two of us haven't heard appropriately from him. I thought you also in the same suit. Why do you say
Well,
not in the same suit?
I have not heard anything from him. But this is not his bill.
Speaker, we are taking my amendment, clause 31. We finished. We came up to 30. We came.
Honourable member, let me
So you
place
want
the
to go to
bill
25?
under consideration.
Oh, very well, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
That is
the
so.
Community Service Bill 2026 at consideration stage. Honourable members, we defer consideration of clause 25. Chairman of the committee, have you looked at clause 25 with the committee members?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I've taken a close look at the 25B and think we can do the cross reference appropriately when we get to clause 31.
So what then will be the new rendition in 25B?
Sorry?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the promoter of the bill is here. Yesterday, what we suggested is that we must tidy up 25 with 29, 30, and 31. You want to establish a rehabilitation fund with its objectives. Now, when you say 25B, monies accruing to the Secretariat in the performance of the functions of the Secretariat, the understanding is that a convicted person may go and offer a service somewhere where some remuneration may accrue. That can be a source of fund. Like you are trying that we do sanitary parts with convicted persons. The convicted person will labor and money will accrue to it. But Mr. Speaker, we want the chairman and the minister to clean up 25 and then 31 and 29 together. I think that when we get 29, 30, and 31 passed, we then will understand what we can do with 25. Mr. Speaker, funds of the Secretariat, why? The Secretariat is just part of the structure of a community service. But the beef of this bill is your rehabilitation fund. Part of that fund will be used to fund the Secretariat. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for us to be able to make progress, my suggestion would be that let's keep 25 still stood down and probably try to see how far we can go. We then come back to it. Instead of trying to take it now, when we have not done 29, 30, 31. So to be able to make real progress, in fact, in my view, if we want, we can stand down the 25, 29, 30, and 31 and proceed with the others that do not have to have anything to do with the funding. Then when we are done, we'll take our time and look at the funding and how to rationalize them.
We are now moving straight to 31. We've already taken 29 and 30.
That they've done it.
Oh, okay. Then my suggestion is that let's continue. And then when we are done, then we'll come back to the 29, 30, 25, 29, 30, and 31.
To consider clause 31 conveniently, we need to resolve clause 25. If you don't resolve clause 25, you may have challenge considering clause 31, unless you want clause 25 and 31 to be stood down. Is that the sense of the House? Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the minister promoting the bill is here. We just need some policy clarity. So you are establishing a secretariat to implement the provisions of this bill. That secretariat has to be financed. Now, traditionally, we will say money approved by Parliament. You want to add, in addition to the money approved by Parliament, money accruing to the Secretariat in the performance of the functions of the Secretariat. The functions of the Secretariat include implementing a community service program. The community service program may generate revenue when convicted persons are asked to render services for which the services will be paid for. So that's the intention that is reflected in clause 25. Subsequently, in clause 29, you then establish a rehabilitation fund. And the object of the fund is to provide financial resources for rehabilitation of convicted persons. Then, in that one, you didn't say Parliament in the first instance, but in B you say Parliament may determine. Is that okay? Then your main focus in 31 is the same monies that convicted persons, is that okay, are going to generate. So we need clarity. We need clarity. And that is why Speaker said, let's resolve this issue, because if we don't have that clarity, you want a rehabilitation fund. In my opinion, you have to take a decision. The Secretariat is an agency of government. As for agencies of government, they are to be funded by Parliament. So you can leave it there. Then you can now come to rehabilitation and say that, as a matter of principle, the people who have raised money through their service, that money can be used to invest in them to rehabilitate them. You see, so my view is that take out the B in 25. Take out the B in 25, and let's leave monies accruing to us from the use of the labor of the convicted persons for their own rehabilitation. That's my view. So there's a need for policy clarity here. Once there's policy clarity, couching it is the easiest part of the job.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the principle is this. Because the secretariat that we are setting up is new. And we have seen the example of Uganda, where they set it up and it was not properly funded. It was poorly funded and then it couldn't function. So we want to combine the services that will be rendered by the inmates who are now to do community service. Whatever they will generate, we want to be able to split it so that part of it will be for the secretariat and part of it will be for the rehabilitation, so that at least we are able to fund both, function. Because if you joke and you leave it for only the GOG or what Parliament will approve, you may arrive at the Ugandan example where you have set it up, but because it is poorly funded, it is not even able to function to get inmates to provide the community service. So that is why the intention by the committee was that, okay, when we explain this, the committee said, okay, if that's the case, can we take a portion of what will be generated as of their activity into the rehabilitation? That's why you are now seeing them at both ends. But the intention is that split this, whatever they will be generating, to serve both the secretariat and the rehabilitation fund. I mean, frankly speaking, my thinking was that if truly we could succeed, I know we are going to get there, succeed in getting the district assembly to play their role in terms of funding the rehabilitation, then even 25% from their activity from the secretariat to this one will be sufficient. But other than that, we may have to do 50-50 for them.
You see, honorable members, if you look at page 8 of the memorandum accompanying the bill, it deals with clause 25. It reads, clause 25 to 28 deals with financial provisions. Clause 25 provides for funds of the secretariat. The funds of the secretariat includes monies approved by Parliament, that's one, monies accruing to the secretariat in the performance of the functions of the secretariat, and donation, grant, and gifts. So we can leave it as it is and make addition that 25% of monies accruing from the service provided by the convict. So we can do that addition to 25. But if we are trying to cross-reference 31 to 25 as the way it is done here, it will be problematic. So we have to maintain the old rendition in 25 and probably have a new clause between B and C, which will talk about the percentage retention of the service provided by the convicted persons. So in that case, we will not have a problem. Then we can still maintain 31 as it is, so that the rest of the money generated as a result would then be used for rehabilitation. Yes,
so,
let me hear from the chairman.
So, Mr. Speaker, are you suggesting that the proposed amendment we have under 31B, which reads as follows: at least 25% of monies accruing to the Secretariat in the performance of the functions of the Secretariat be lifted and placed in between 25B and C?
Yes.
Very well. So if that is the position,
Yes.
we may implore our drafts lady to take note and effect the changes accordingly.
Yes, so that when you go to 31, the rest of the percentage remains the yes, leader.
I think Chairman hasn't gotten the speaker. The idea is that in 25, we should introduce a new clause C that says 25% of monies accruing from the provision of services by convicted persons to third parties. That's what the suggestion is.
So that when you come to 31,
So that
then it becomes 75%.
When we come to 31, then we will specifically say that 75%.
Yes.
So we'll amend only clause 31A by saying 75% of monies accrued from the provision of services by convicted persons to third parties.
We are taking out monies approved by Parliament as a source of funding?
No.
Because that is what 31A says.
No. So in 25, you are adding a new clause. You're adding a new clause. And that new clause will come between the original B and C. So the C becomes D. Honorable members, 25 would read, the funds of the Secretariat include monies approved by Parliament, B, monies accruing to the Secretariat in the performance of the functions of the Secretariat, C, monies 25% of monies accruing from the services provided by the convicted persons to third parties. And then the D will be donations, grants, and gifts. Yes, let me hear former minister responsible for education.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, in some jurisdictions, community service is not paid for. So we are assuming that in our case, service will be paid for. In other places, they direct traffic, guide students to cross street, These are seen as restitution to society and not necessarily paid for. So, under those circumstances, revenues may not be accruing.
Well, I think in these circumstances, revenue will accrue.
Speaker.
Because they are going to work for institutions, and they won't work for institutions for free. Yes. Even if it is not in all cases, the few cases that they work for institutions, they will generate revenue. Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I think we should be guided by you to be methodical. Let's take clause 25, funds of the Secretariat, and finish it as guided by you, so that it reads, the funds of the Secretariat include, as you read, A, B, C, now D, which will include 25% of monies accruing from the performance of functions. I will not have traveled the length to add third parties. Why will you add third parties? You are performing a function.
Yes.
Why do you want to define third parties?
Yes.
I'll delete the words third parties and just put the question on 25. Then when we come to 31, we'll be guided, Mr. Speaker, from the guidance. Thank you.
Very well.
As for the
So-
Honorable Edichum, he is sharing his California example. This law may be going beyond California.
So
it
I
may
would-
be taking best practice from
I would
other
want
parts of the world.
Honorable Haruna Idrisu to own that particular amendment so that I can put a question. Yes, Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I want us to think through the third party carefully. If you say, like, I agree with the amendment, except the deletion of the third parties, because if you provide the service, if they are providing the service to the state, it's not third party, and you don't pay for it. So, for example, if the community service requires that you teach in a basic school in the community, government is not going to pay you for the teaching. If it requires that maybe the person is a doctor that has to provide health services to a hospital, that is state, that will not be taking, nobody will pay for that. But if the person is a doctor and he's to provide that service to a private facility, that private facility will have to pay for that service. That is why the third party is there. But if it is to the state, it's not third party, it is to the state. So we wanted to differentiate that. Other than that, if you take the third party, then every service that the convicted person provides, they will be chasing you with a bill to pay, even if it is a state institution. And we wanted to avoid that. That's why it was qualified with the third party.
That's why I abandoned my opposition.
Thank you.
Well, then, if necessarily we should use third party, then when we come to interpretation in this peculiar sense, we have to define third party to exclude the government. So, as for that one, the drafters can take care of it for us. I'll put a question on Honorable Haruna Idrisu's amendment on clause 25. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment to clause 25 by Haruna Idrisu is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now I'll put a question on the entire clause 25 as amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 25 is ordered to stand part of the bill.